Hey, it's me. Reverie motif. Why, that's not funny. What am I talking about? Hey, I hope all is going well. It's been a while, hasn't it? But here I am. Playing the game everybody seems to like so much. Not really playing it, I'm training mode, you know, but I learned some things while I was messing around in practice. And I want to share it, because I don't know if everybody knows about this, right? I want to stress some like character-specific oddities, I guess, is how I put it. And what you can do to elevate your game plan using said oddities, right? The wording was probably really bad on that. I'm sorry. This game has a little under-the-hood mechanic. I like to call it a character's weight class. It sounds really weird, but what this essentially means is like, what is their rush damage like, and what do their charge times look like, right? So here we have Goku, and I got some Battles with Trunks in Super Saiyan form. Right? I can go grade 3, I can go base.
This is my true power.
This is my true power, right? And I also have 2 characters here to show off some unique stuff as well. But I'll go base form first, because it's the easiest one to explain, right? Light, medium, heavy are the weight class in this game. There is some variance in the way that it affects the character that you play as. But Trunks and Goku here are what I like to call medium weights. They have normal timings on their charges, their smash attacks. And this also extends to their rush follow-ups. She's also have, let me set this is key to max so I don't break his guard on accident before I'm like an absolute buffoon. But he has normal timings on his charge timings for his rush follow-ups. As you can see. It's not like fast, not slow, just normal. I like to call this a normal one, right? Your weight class also affects the damage you deal with your smashes. And your smash follow-ups at like 2.7k, or almost 2.8 basically. Lightweights are slower. So, let me show you this like visual example real quick here. So, I'm behind him, right? Time for a switch. And I want to combo into my smash attack. Zarbon's a lightweight. He's a little bit slim. He's built a little bit different. I don't know if you can see it. But his smashes are actually a lot slower. And his follow-ups are also somewhat slow. They're not horribly slow, but they're like slower. And let's say I want to combo into a smash when I'm behind the opponent to force like a vanish wall or to do like the rush follow-ups or whatever, like the vanish follow-ups. You notice how he can't do it, right? Goku turns around easily. He's able to completely lift up his arms and block in time, right? Let's try out the medium weight, like Trunks. He should be faster, right? Let's see if he can do it. He did. You see how Goku didn't lift up his arms yet, but he was still able to block in the nick of time? That's a pretty nice visual indicator to see whether your character is a lightweight, a medium weight, or a heavyweight, right? But this can change. So, with Trunks, let's go to grade 3. If you remember the damage he was dealing, not only is his DP level higher, so he will deal more damage, his smash damage is really high now. Look at this. 1.75. So if I go for the follow-up for before, that's an easy 3.3k. That's a pretty big damage. Does damage difference of like 500? Doesn't sound like a lot, but it will add up. I should do more attacks and combos. But what we're mainly here for is his smash timings. These are pretty fast, huh? Let me do it side by side for you.
Alright, now it's my turn. You're out. I'll finish this.
This is a pretty big difference. This goes for every variation of the smash as well. And his follow-ups as well, if you can see it.
Alright, now it's my turn. You're out.
It's a bit hard to see for the follow-ups he does out of his chains, but it is faster. And it's because now he's a heavyweight. So let's try again. Would you look at that? Heavyweight characters have a smash that's fast enough where the opponent's able to turn around, but they can't actually guard the smash in time. They can still like, what's it called? They can probably still banish it because it is a vanishable attack, but it's a really nice indicator. Cooler is similar, right? He's a medium weight as well. Barely. Time to go into the best design of a movie villain of all time. Let's go. And now I get to be all now I get to go hard like this. Now he's heavyweight. Easy peasy. Easy half health bar. Looking good, Mr. Cooler. Looking great, right? He can't go back, unlike Trunks. But Zarbon, he can do the same thing. Like, he's a lightweight now, which is the slowest. But if he goes into his ugly form, he will get heavyweight properties as well. I'm not going to show this again, because I don't want to, like, you know, overdo it. I think you get the picture, right? If you're a heavyweight, your smashes start up faster, your rush follow-ups start up faster. And it's a pretty big difference between a lightweight and a heavyweight. You saw it, right? It's like, it almost feels like half a second. It's like, I tried to do the math. I tried to record like a frame by frame of characters, medium, light, and heavy, doing a smash. And it was like a 0.2 difference between each. So there's a 0.4 second difference between Zarbon's smash and that of Grade 3 Trunks and Full Power Cooler. I'll make him go base form so we have a medium weight character again. Because now we have a lightweight, a medium, and a heavy, right? It's perfect. Now what's interesting is that there is a quote-unquote downside to him to being a heavyweight, right? There is a downside. There's a hidden downside as well. And there's your Ki Blast base damage, right? So Zarbon's a good example because he stays the same DP level, so he doesn't get more damage when he transforms. But look at his Ki Blast damage. 296. I'm sure you can remember that. Here we go, time to go evil mode. And they do it again. He deals less damage. He deals 50 less damage, right? Not that much for one Ki Blast, but if you do a whole string, right? That didn't even do that much damage. That was like not even 2k, right? So his damage actually gets decreased on his Ki Blast when he's in this form. But to compensate, his smash damage and his physical damage goes up. So I'll do like a full rush string to show you. 2214. Just remember 2.2k. That's an easy thing to remember. Let's try it again. 2.7. Oh, we did 500 more damage on that. That's a pretty big difference, right? So in my opinion, this is better because you're going to be scrapping in this game. This isn't like a game where you're running away and like constantly zoning. Some characters can do this. Some Ki Blasts are really good at doing this, but dealing more damage on your rush range and having better strongs and then starting up faster is undoubtedly really powerful. I don't have like a massive comprehensive list of who's a heavyweight and who isn't. These are some pretty good examples of characters that can change it on the fly. Zarbon is probably one of the few 3DP heavyweights. I think Dodoria is a heavyweight as well, but I'm not sure. I think Raccoon. I just call them heavyweights, right? What I mean by that is just they do more damage here, they do less damage with this, and the smashes start up faster. Right? It gives you more true combos. What I really like is a Grand Slash after a single hit. If you're a lightweight, there's like a lot more time to react to it. Like even as a medium weight, like the bot can block low. Sadly, I wish you could make him block low. Make him block his crotch. You can't. But heavyweights get to just like mix you up a little bit more because you have to be earlier to vanish. And another nice thing is that the perfect smash timing is also earlier, right? You probably noticed it, how like the flash appears way earlier. So their perfect smashes are also earlier. It does mean you have to learn a different timing, which kind of sucks. But this being faster is also great. Blaster Wave, if it's on a second hit, is it? No, it's on his first hit? Yes, okay. If it's uncharged, it's just a simple hit. You can block it either way. If it's charged all the way, it's a pretty fast unblockable, but it can be sidestepped. That's the counterplay, right? You can sidestep it and use the invincibility of sidestep. If you semi-charge it, it guard breaks. See? It guard breaks if you release it at the right time. But if you hold it all the way, it becomes unblockable. So I don't know if I just discovered something new on accident. Let me just check real quick. I think it's on the second hit in this form as well. It's not. It's on the first hit? It's on the third hit? Yes. Can Zarbon just not guard break with Blaster Wave? But yeah, you see how the release timing is earlier, right? The release timing is earlier, so the guard break also appears earlier, the unblockable is also earlier, right? So that's also really powerful. I think this is really powerful. I'm not saying you should only play heavyweights, because lightweights as you saw, like the difference between the lightweight Zarbon and the heavyweight Zarbon damage is pretty high on their Ki Blast. So like, let's switch. So you do a fully charged Ki Blast all the way. That's like, that doesn't even break 1.5k. Let's just say it does, because you can round it up. It's really a single damage point. Alright. This one deals quite a bit more damage, right? So this will add up. If you do like a little cute little combo, comboing that with that Ki Blast is not impossible. It's kind of weird. Crap. I'll just do this for a variation. Zarbon can't do anything? Right? That was 3 of them. I spent a better key. That was almost 5k, right? So that's some that's the upside. These characters are way better at doing those types of combos with charged Ki Blasts compared to let's say, you know, a heavyweight. But I feel like heavyweights are still like a little bit better. That's the first thing, right? That's the first thing I would like to you know, show you, right? Let me show you something else. Something else you might find interesting. First thing that you've learned today is that every character is a little bit different, right? Heavyweights. Some characters are like unique in that they're actually heavyweights. I don't like this song. Let me skip it. This song is nice. Right? The fusions fall under the category of heavyweight most of the time, but they don't suffer the Ki Blast damage penalty like other heavyweights because, you know, they're fusions, right? They should be really powerful, right? Kefla in her base form is a medium weight. She becomes heavyweight, I think either 7 or 8. I don't know which one. So some characters are like, it's transformation based. But most of the time it's just like, I think the character has. Ruby Red is also a heavyweight because haha, get it? Look at her body, ha ha ha, alright. Zamasu is actually a lightweight. He's a unique fusion. So that's also something to keep in mind. It depends on the character. So I recommend you do a little test that I showed you. Where you do a full like string, like and then you charge a smash attack all the way and see if it actually hits them or not. If they were able to hold their hands up, they're a lightweight. If they weren't able to hold their hands up, but they're able to block in the nick of time, they're a medium weight. And if they weren't able to block and it's a true combo, they're a heavyweight. Right? That's the easy test. Because I know it can be hard to tell sometimes, 100%. So, I will now show you something else that's pretty fun. We'll keep Zarbon in here, and we'll even keep Trunks. But we're gonna switch out Cooler because he's a little bit too expensive for us. Alright, let me also go base. Also, fun fact, if you press the bumpers here, you don't have to watch the cutscene of the character pulling up and saying a voice line. Like, I can just do this, right? I can just immediately get, like, a team. You see how I can immediately just get, like, a team set up? You can't remove them from here, but you can set up a team really quickly. So if you're short on time, you're playing with a friend or whatever, pro tip. Yes. Right, thoughts? This team is bad. But this team is every single unique Ki Blast in the game, to my knowledge. Barring one. So we'll have to go back here anyway. But I want to be super duper efficient, okay? I'm sorry for wasting your time. I mean, I already kind of am, but it's some fun knowledge. You're gonna love this. You're gonna really like this one. I'll put my key on normal. I don't need to be a max. Right. So there's multiple different charged Ki Blasts in this game. You probably know this already. You have like these. Some characters can chuck more than others. Simon can only chuck 3 because he is weak sauce. But he has the standard charged Ki Blast. It looks really cool. Why is this Ki Blast so cool? Look at this, like... This is the basic charged Ki Blast. It doesn't change depending on where you're dashing, when you're standing still, or when you're moving. You can incorporate it into certain combos. Like this. It's pretty good. Afterwards, you can do whatever you want. After a heavy stagger, you can do one, and they won't actually get staggered. So you can use a heavy Ki Blast like this. Go into another one. Get a rush string, or just do one and just do a full rush string or whatever. You know, you can... The world is your oyster, right? It makes for a really nice zoning tool. Its tracking isn't perfect. Like, he's stationary. It's really hard to show because the bot in training mode is sadly pretty bad, but the tracking is quite good. It's a really good pestering tool. You can incorporate it alongside your Ki Blast, but you may notice from far away. You can see him holding the button down to front another, but our friend little Cyberman here will not throw out another one until the first one has dissipated. This is not actually the case. The game tracks your charged Ki Blasts individually. and it considers stationary and moving to be a different type. You see, I was able to throw out the moving one before the first one even connected. The moving Ki Blast is a totally different Ki Blast. So this can make, if you want to be a masterful, like, Vegeta's technique individual, like Vegeta no wasn't like, you're just chucking Ki Blast at the opponent, you don't like any room to breathe, like, ha. You see how much faster it is? Compared to like this? It's almost twice the speed. And if I'm even further away, like let's say over here, right? It takes a while for both of them to get there. So this zoning, I like to call it zoning, right? This is still not, you know, but guess what? We still have the dashing Ki Blast to incorporate. So if you really want to chuck out 3 charged Ki Blasts at once on the stage, you can do this. It's a bit hard to implement though. So it was kind of hard to see from this distance, but I did have 3 Ki Blasts on the stage at a single given time. If not, there were 2 of them, and I was already charging my next one, which normally isn't possible until the first one has completely disappeared. So this is universal. I want you to try and remember this. That this Ki Blast and this Ki Blast were actually different. Even on this version of the charged Ki Blast, they are identical in the way they travel and the damage that they deal. The other Ki Blasts are different, though. This one is the one that's most ubiquitous across all variations, because these are seen as different variations by the gang. The stationary ones and the moving one. They all go the same way, they all do the same damage, and they all track the same, right? But the other ones will be different. So, I want you to notice, right? Now you know you can have multiple on the stage at once if you do this little technique. Just this one is enough, I would say. You never really have the opportunity to do a dashing one unless your opponent is really far away from you. Like you're like on islands or like destroyed city or some shit like that, and you just killed their character and they spawned in and they're at the other side of the map, but you have able to get lock on. Then you can do some like advancing zoning. I like to call it zoning, right? Where you do something like this, right? Right, that's where you can do something like this. But it works for the advancing blast as well. So yeah, just keep that in mind. That's a really good thing to know. It can be kind of hard to get the hang of, because it's just literally a different Ki Blast. But if you do the first one stationary, the other one will be really easy, because you can see in my input display, I'm just holding down the movement key while I'm charging the stationary one. And it will come out the second that the charging is over. The other order is okay too. But just start off with this one first, where you go from stationary to charging. Stationary to moving Ki Blast, excuse me. That's the best one you should learn. Next up, how about we talk about Telekinesis?
Now it's my turn.
We have another Cyberman. not really. Telekinesis is pretty nostalgic for you, I think, if you play Budokai Tenkaichi. Stop! Right? You will notice that it's really slow. Right? It's really fucking slow. It takes a long time to come out, and the tracking isn't amazing. And not only that, it has a pretty whack minimum distance to it. From here, they will not actually hit the opponent. So you have to be like around this distance. It's kind of hard to really quantify how far away this is, but this is like 1, 2, 3, like 4, 5 dashes away from your opponent, then these things actually hit. But of course your opponent will move around the stage, right? So this will change. But this is really easy to see, and the opponent will probably just fly up or dash past it, or can even like homing dash through it to get rid of it. But it doesn't mean it's bad, right? I think this is actually a really nice Ki Blast for multiple reasons. For one, maybe you saw it already. But on goal though, how do I show this correctly? It's really hard to show because they're so big and they overlap with each other. Okay, I think if I do this, 1, 2, 3, I think this is the case, right? Shit, no it's not. It depends on the character, but on goal though, Telekinesis also doesn't change its travel time and damage when you use different movement on it. Some characters do, but most of them don't. I think Cooler does. That's why I was mixing up in my head. But you can see these two versions are identical, which I think is good, because this will allow you to zone really well. Look at how many ones you can have on the stage at a time because of the rule we talked about earlier, right? It's the charge Ki Blast rule. you can easily have 3 of them up at a time. Of course, your opponent won't be stationary, they'll be moving around, but the fact that these things take so long to come out lets you do a little cheeky trick. You can follow up behind it. So like, it will like literally cover you as you pull up to the opponent, right? That I think is pretty nice, but the real sauce begins now, right? Oh, I don't have enough key for this, right? Like, all those key generations pretty bad. What do you think about that? That's a little setup. Again, maybe a little bit nostalgic if you're from Budokai Tenkaichi, where you just slow Ki Blast behind the opponent, and if they don't move or they don't block the attack in time, you will actually just end up hitting them with the Ki Blast. I'll do it again when he's already facing me, when I'm hitting him, just to like show. Like, yeah, that's pretty good, right? If your opponent's stalling and shit, and they just keep blocking whenever you run up to them with the homing dash, this is a really nice answer to it. But not only is it good in this situation, it's also really good at restricting your opponent's movement, because you're throwing this out, right? You're forcing them to respond to it. It's not like a standard Ki Blast you just throw out to hit them with. You want them to move away from this, so you can intercept them. That's the idea with this Ki Blast. And the real stuff is in combos. After you hit a heavy crush, I mean heavy finish, sorry. Heavy crush is a different move. Heavy finisher, you can charge up a little bit, boop, and you can actually combo into paralysis. And you can keep your combo going. So what I like to do is I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 4. I made him turn around, it was too slow. Let me show this again. This is a little way to mess with your combos, right? Because this... excuse me. This cannot be super countered, it cannot be percepted. So it's a really nice way to add on some extra damage at the end of a combo. After this heavy crush, after a left strike, you saw before with the charged Ki Blast where it wouldn't actually hit them correctly and they'll just take the damage from it. You could do the same thing here. And if you do it twice, you see how I actually comboed into both of them and I dealt a really cool, like half a health bar damage, 5k. And then I can still go into my actual like rush combo afterwards as well. But this is the case for every single Ki Blast in the game. Some of them are just a little bit harder to do. You see I'm like drifting forward when I'm doing the Telekinesis blast because it's pretty slow. So that's pretty good, right? It's really nice. If you don't know what to do after a rush combo, you're free to just throw it out like this and force them to block it. So you can step up after it. It's also pretty useful like that. You can make your like attacks invisible. Because the smoke is actually blocking the view of your character. If you're behind furniture or like an obstacle in this game, the game will draw a silhouette around you to show like, hey, the opponent is behind there, right? Like when you're looking for the opponent, when your lock-on is off, things like that. Not the case when an effect is on top of you. So you can actually use this to like really make it really hard to see what you're actually doing. This is actually pretty hard to see, right? His grab is a pretty unique animation. It is like a pretty really telegraphed. And you can always just use step-in mix-ups. Like you can do the low one, you can do left strike, you can do whatever. You don't actually need to do throw, right? But this is like the best mix-up. Because even on block in front of you, like let's say there's still, you do like 1-2 hits, and they're still like holding down guard, you could do like boop, 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 like boop. Right? This is fake, they can sidestep it, they can percept it, right? But it's still really nice as like a little mix-up. It's really good. Now, percept, huh? Just talking about perception. You know how Ki Blasts go through perception, right? Telekinesis isn't any different. But the really nice thing about Telekinesis, it's one of the few charged Ki Blasts in the game. It's like, you're gonna hold perception. You can stop him dead in his tracks. Like you can just like look at him and just kind of like chuck it at him. And if he doesn't guard it, then you get a full combo. It's really powerful. I think this is actually a really good Ki Blast just for this, right? If your opponent is really keen like mashing perception while they're guarding like this, you can just do this, chuck this, right? And if they got hit, great. If they didn't get hit, you can just get like a little cheeky mix-up off and make it hard to see what you're actually doing because you remember, you are like obscured by the actual like effect of the attack. So that's really good. This is really good as a counter to perception. This is an uncommon Ki Blast though. Not that many characters have this Ki Blast because like a unique ability. Chaozu has it, Goldo has it, Cooler has it when he's in his final form, I think. Frieza has it, but not in all of his forms. I think only in his first and final form, right? So you kind of have to really pick a character if you want the Paralysis Blast. You kind of have to keep it in mind. It's already a thing you just like expect to get. This Ki Blast you'll get like 90% of the time. This common one. But now let's talk about the other ones, right? You got it, right? Really good to make the opponent move, mix-ups, counters perception, gives you a full combo on hit. The one weird thing that I want to point out before I move on is though, you see how Goku didn't actually get hit by the next Ki Blast? Well, he did get hit by it, but you see how he instantly turned around to face me? Like he got staggered by a really weak attack. You cannot do Paralysis twice in a row. You see how I'm trying to get a combo off it, it doesn't really work. But you can do Paralysis twice in a combo, just not back to back. So like this, right? Oh, sorry, I didn't actually get the Paralysis hit correctly. I'll do it again. You can still get Paralysis to occur twice. You just have to actually combo into it in a unique way, with unique different staggers or moves that are like advantageous enough to get you set up into Paralysis twice. Like the Lift Strike Heavy Follow. Like this one. Alright. Another really nice thing about I keep gushing, I'm sorry. A nice thing about Paralysis is that if you do it correctly like this, you get a guaranteed tag out. And you get the combo off of it. I don't know if this attack can be vanished, the tag out. I know what's it called? The smash one can be vanished. But I don't know if this one can be vanished. You get a combo tag out, and you can keep comboing afterwards. Let's switch! Right, boom. He turns around. Doesn't have enough time to guard. You get the tag out and immediately combo. So that's also a really nice thing about this Ki Blast. If they don't they fail to vanish the heavy stagger, you get to charge up a little bit. You get to just literally go out for free. Like there's no counterplay to it, right? Tag outs are already really strong, but this makes it even more powerful because you can tag out while you're comboing safely, as long as you're able to hit this like heavy stagger state. All right, next up.
I got it.
Oh fuck, he's actually two different. Wait, shit. Nobody picked his character. He actually has both the Ki Blast that Tierlist also has. I'm sorry. I messed up. Wait. Hold on, wait. Wait, who was I missing? I was missing one. Remember? I said I was missing one? Who was it again? Which one was it again? I don't want to spoil it. Crap. No, this is actually every single Ki Blast in the game. I have a list on my other monitor to make sure I didn't forget. List of charged Ki Blasts. Right! The special one, the really special one. Thank goodness the drink is 4 DP.
I'm ready.
Ah, goodness. I look like an idiot, don't I? Now I have to watch this again. I now have to set all the fucking variables again. And I'm not variables. I'm stupid. It's official. But yes, press Ki Blast, right?
I got it.
I'll cover him last, because this Ki Blast is really different. The one that I just showed you. The 3 orbs, this is a very different Ki Blast. The most uncommon one in the game, right next to Paralysis. So, let's go to the next one.
Thought I'd never get my turn.
There he is. Everybody's favorite Australian.
You're no match for me, mate.
Let's take a look. What does he do? He throws a little, like, a little marble at you. A little marble. Let me see here. There we go. Okay. He throws a marble at you. I call this the Homing Orb. You may notice it's a lot more different than what we've seen so far. Not only is this one, the stationary, really slow, but the moving one is actually faster. You see how fast the one it is when I'm moving? Like, it's really obvious to make them race like this. It's almost double the speed. Although you will see that the stationary one's travel time isn't that super duper far. It has like a lifetime on it before it like dissipates and vanishes into the ether, right? But because the moving one is faster, it also travels a further distance. And the dashing one is even faster. This one is really fast, see? This one's absolutely quick. So, Jace and a few other characters, like Piccolo, main characters come to mind are like Piccolo, Yamcha, God Goku has this as well. There's quite a few characters that actually have this homing orb Ki Blast. This one is both an in-between of like Telekinesis and Charged Ki Blast, if I had to like actually give it like a comparison. Because the stationary one restricts your opponent's movements and it tracks really well, whereas this dashing one is really fast. The problem is just, if you want a fast Ki Blast, you have to spend like the entry fee of dashing, and dashing costs like almost as much as an actual Ki Blast. So you're paying like double the price for a fast Ki Blast, but the slow ones, they're like free, right? So I think that's really good, and all the properties on hits of these Ki Blasts are also different. So the stationary one knocks the opponent away in a little tumble state, just like the normal charged Ki Blast from like the Cyberman and many other characters. The moving one causes it to stagger. It deals less damage, but it staggers them, so you get a full combo. Really easy full combo. And the dashing one also causes this flip out. It's like I call it a flip out. It's an easy way to call it. It's a flip out, right? And maybe you've seen this on Twitter or on YouTube, right? But this actually combos into itself. So this is an infinite. I'm not joking. But if you're too slow, it will go through them because they get like combo protection and they drop out the combo. If you have a full key gauge or you're in sparking or whatever have you, this can go on for like 20 hits. I can't do it with this because his key economy is pretty bad. So let me do this, right? So this is doing quite a decent chunk of damage already. Full health bar already. So once the combo hits 20 hits, they drop out. And they're done so, they're done for, right? Then that flip out happens, they can tech it by tapping back or whatever have you. Or they can tech when they hit the ground, then the combo drops out. So this isn't a real infinite, but this deals like a metric fuck ton of damage and you can combo into it. You have to delay the first one, or else this doesn't work. You have to wait. And if you're too close and he turns around, you're screwed. I'll do this side. And then you can like hold into him. Yeah, there you go, right. So, you can do this off of many hits. Does he have Heavy Crush? No, he has Rolling Hammer on the first hit, that's crazy. You can combo into it using Heavy Crush. So heavy finisher. And Lift Strikes, heavy follow-up. And it's also, like every other Ki Blast, counts Perception. So if they're holding Perception and you hit them with this, they get put in the stagger state. You can either go into a full combo, or you can combo it into itself. And then you have yourself the messed up infinite, right? This is like the most like cheesy one, if I had to like say that. Not only is it good in neutral, because the dashing one is really fast, you can constrict your opponent's movements like this, while still throwing normal Ki Blasts, by the way. Don't forget you have normal Ki Blasts. But it also is like the best combo Ki Blast in the game, because it actually allows you to combo it into itself. And that's obviously really, really powerful. Like, I don't think I need to explain how powerful that is. That's really good. So if you have these people that are just mashing Perception, they don't respect you, they're like constantly doing sidesteps and stuff where you're trying to hit them, you're like, man. I play Jace sometimes. I don't really do this, but I do think about doing this all the time, I'll be honest. I did this like once against one guy who was like timer scamming me with like the Jajirobe Raccoon team and Quinn and Master Roshi, I think. It was like another character, I forgot, maybe it was Brody or something. He had timer scam me, I was like, man, no. I did this to him. He was constantly tagging out and stuff. This is like, I make this my ace in the hole when my opponent is cheesing me. I don't do this to people. Like, I feel really bad when I do this, but whatever you do with this information is up to your discretion, right? I'm just the messenger. If you want to shoot everybody you come across and just do this to them, you're free to. But yes, extremely good combo tool. Counts Perception, gives you a full combo on it effortlessly. No problem. You get the combo into whatever you want. Let me save him. There we go. You get the combo into whatever you want. You get a real combo into throw. I think you even get to link smashes. See? So you're really advantageous, especially when it hits from the back. You can also do it with Telekinesis, where you do it... Oh, that was the weird one. Oops. But you do it after you do a rush combo from the front or from behind. Either works. To force them to guard it and use the smoke to cover you up. This is probably in contender for the best key blast in the game, because it does everything that's the utility that Telekinesis does, alongside also having the infinite. And also this infinite is really easy. You can see him just holding up into him and just releasing Y in a rhythm. Even if you're on a bad connection where the delay is really bad, you can probably do this like easily. Especially on a character that immediately gets to go into sparking. It's pretty devastating, right? They pressed B once. They had on a key. They can kiss goodbye to their health bar. The only counterplay to the infinite is by using revenge counter, which is not very good, or having an explosive play. That's the counterplay, by the way. So yeah. I don't care if this is forbidden knowledge. The people have to know what's actually in this game. Okay, it's important. We're gonna get a balance patch in December. We're gonna see what happens. But for now, this is the game. So. Sorry. Sorry if I ruined your perception of the game. Perception? Okay. That is the Homing Orb Key Blast. Potentially the best Key Blast in the game. Now. Here's Trunks. The drink! Individuals call me the drink, right? He has a charge Key Blast while he's moving. A pretty quick one as well. Like, it's quite fast. But he's unique in that his jumping Key Blasts... I think? Is it jumping? The jumping Key Blast is still the charge Key Blast, but when he's stationary, it's a Sword Slash. You'll see how Goku is trying to guard it, but it actually is unblockable. This is unblockable. Only a few characters have this. I believe Trunks. This guy has it.
I'm gonna kill you in an instant. In fact, you're already dead.
I'm gonna unblockable you in an instant. Right. He has it. Tapion has it, Zamasu has it, and non-corrupted Fusamasu also has this. I think maybe Goku Black has this as well. I don't know though, I'm sorry. Maybe Rosé only, but this is a real unblockable. But you can only perform while you're stationary. If you move in any way, you get the normal charge Key Blast. So you even have to like actually stand still for a bit before you're allowed to move. And you may also notice. You can see in my input display, the cooldown on this is like hard-coded. Like if I'm up close like this, 1, 2, 3. Like about 3 seconds. If I'm far away, it's also about 3 seconds. The game just puts a hard-coded cooldown on your Key Blast if it's unblockable, like these Sword Slashes. So no matter where you perform it, this will always have like about a 3-second cooldown. Which is, you know... Actually, is it 3 seconds? I think I'm counting way too fast. Like, let's say 2.5 seconds, I don't know. But this is obviously really powerful. But the cooldown restricts its usage. Doesn't mean you can't zone with it though. In fact, I think this is probably the best zoning Key Blast in the game, because you can't deflect it by tapping guard either. You have to actually get the fuck out of the way, or else this will hit you. So you can do like 1, 2, hup, 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 and then it's back, right? It's not as oppressive as the Homing Orb, or just throwing like a mass. Like, I'm talking like a fuck ton of charge Key Blasts. But the fact that you can, like, just oopsie unblockable them like this is, I think, also really powerful. It's just, it's like the most uncommon Key Blast in the game. Like, only those few characters have it. I keep saying, oh, it's really uncommon, but it's true. 99% of the characters will have this Key Blast. So consider yourself lucky if you have a really unique one, because it's not common at all. But yeah, this is unblockable, that's it. Some characters go about this in a different way. The jumping Key Blast is unique as well. You see the unique arc it takes. It's also technically a unique Key Blast, so yeah, you can even do this. Like moving, and then I think moving, jumping. Yes, this is kind of hard to do because there's a really big cooldown on jumping after you throw Key Blast. You can ascend when you're charging it, but after a bit you have to wait until you're done firing. But, okay. This is getting way too long. I'm really sorry. Krillin and 18 can do this as well, but only by jumping on the ground like this. Which I think is still useful. But yeah, this is I call this the slash, the unblockable slash. Obviously, Krillin and 18 don't have a sword. They use the Destructo Disc, the Kienzan to do it. But alright. Now we get to some very unique Ki
You're
Blasts.
fighting me.
Personally, my 2 favorite Ki Blasts in the game. I call this the Triple Trouble. This looks pretty familiar, doesn't it? That song was, what was that? That's Friday Night Funkin'. Ignore that. That's been there for like, I think, like 2 years. But this is called the Triple Trouble. This is 3 orbs. 3 homing orbs, right? And like the one that you saw before with Jice, when you move, they go faster. But uniquely to these is that they all have like a slightly different offset angle when you're moving. And when you're dashing, they condense and all still hit you at the same time. So this is the pure, like raw, no frills, just zoning. This is purely zoning. There is no like up close anti-perception utility. This doesn't infinite into itself because the stagger it causes, it's the flip out. So you can't actually, you know, combo it into itself. This is purely just raw dogging on the zoning. Because this shit, I'm not gonna lie, this is really difficult to get past. And although it doesn't look that scary, you can't actually like reflect it. Because there's 3 of them. You can only reflect 1 Ki Blast back at a time, right? If you throw this one in like a certain way, yeah, you heard like, if you do it diagonally like this, it hits in a slightly different timing. You see how the third Ki Blast hit late? While they're reflecting the first one and going it back at you, the third one will hit them. This Ki Blast cannot actually be deflected properly. They can't do this either because it's charged. And the tracking on this is really, really, really good, especially the stationary one. So this is literally just, I don't want you to have fun. I'm gonna just zone you. You just gotta hold this. And combine this with charging Ki Blasts, in sparking especially, this shit is a menace. It's just extreme zoning, right? It's not the stupid shit you see Broly do with this and then go into an unblockable. But you always have access to really good zoning. Particularly, I really like the dashing variation, like the homing orb, when they're like trying to charge the key in neutral. You just see it, you're really fast. It's super hard for them to react to stop and then guard in time, or they have to get out the way. It's just zoning. This is just zoning. Like the other Ki Blasts, you can still squeeze them in a combo like this, and it will not actually cause a stagger. But if you do it again, it will either go straight through them, or it will cause that flip out. And you see how the actual orbs don't combo into themselves. I think this can still be useful, but this is literally RNG. Where'd that orb go? It's gone. It just whiffed. It didn't track him correctly. How about this one? Didn't even combo this time. The way that they travel is actually just RNG dependent. You don't have any control over it. You can move around and mess around with where they actually end up, but it's 100% RNG. You can actually combo this into itself, but doing so is not only really difficult, it also requires like a lot of luck, because the way that they arc and go deviate from their original like angle is RNG. It's just literally RNG. The best thing you can do if you want to combo these into themselves, if an opponent gets hit by like these, and you happen to be chucking a dashing one already, these will true combo into each other and deal like 3k damage. That's like 2 throws. That's really good. Usually you will throw them like this anyway, and for them to combo like this just on their own like this is really useful. Like this is actually like an accidental oopsie combo you'll get with these Ki Blasts, like a lot. This is my favorite Ki Blast in the game. It slows the game down a little bit and forces your opponent to really like evaluate their movement in neutral. They can't just like do this to you all the time, because eventually they have to get their Ki back because they spent so much Ki on doing it. And this is way cheaper. At least trying one of them is way cheaper than you know, doing a homing dash. And you can always guard the homing dash, like step besides it. It's a really nice Ki Blast. I like this one a lot. And we're in luck, because not only does Oop have this really unique Ki Blast, also pretty uncommon, he can transform.
My powers.
The Majin Buu Thingamabob, I did not watch GG yet. Now he has a very different looking Ki Blast. Also, he loses his quality in his voice sometimes because they got old voice clips of him. This is the shotgun. The shotgun completely sacrifices all the neutral utility. You'll see it will just like sometimes just whiff. It will just whiff when you're moving because the spread is beyond your control. See, like sometimes like 2 or 3 pellets hit, sometimes none of them hit. The neutral is not there. This is the fastest key blast in the game though. So if you're stationary, it's guaranteed like at least a handful of pellets will actually travel straight. So this is still a really good snipe to deal with key charging, but that's literally it. If your opponent is moving in any way, shape or form, as they probably will, excuse me, as they do, this will whiff. So this is literally just a check to stop them from key charging. And some doesn't even whiff like this. And the damage is completely RNG because sometimes many pellets will line up, sometimes only a few, sometimes only 2, sometimes 4. You can see it's really up in the air what's it gonna be. So there's no control over that. When dashing, the cone varies even wildly. If you're going back and forth, it's like you can get it to hit most of the time, but not all the time, see? This key blast is really good if you're close. Because remember, if you've ever played a shooter game before, if you're up close, the pellets will not whiff. All of them will connect. It even lags the game a little bit because there's so many visual effects on the screen. This is what I like to call the high risk, high reward, like high execution key blast. Because if this actually hits, like even the semi-charged one, this deals almost 3k damage on its own. You see that? You see how much damage this dealt? As a little poke. And if we charge it all the way, which won't happen much, it almost dealt like half a health bar. It dealt 3.8k. It dealt almost 4k damage. So this is a really powerful combo tool. Unlike the other key blasts where you can actually insert it as a bonus in combos, with this one it's mandatory to get all the value out of it. You see that fucking damage? That was 8k damage, dude, like boom boom. And the only thing they could do is vanish this Lit Strike. This was guaranteed if you're fast enough. And guess what? It's not over yet. You get to like come up after them. So this is the Bombo key blast. This also counters perception, just like the other ones. But the problem with it is that if they're facing you, they actually recover in time to guard. So there's no actual combo follow-up, unlike homing or telekinesis or whatever like that. You can see it was just holding perception and still actually went through. But doesn't mean it sucks, because you can just do this, right? You can just keep doing this until eventually they'll learn and they'll stop holding perception. You can just chunk their health bar, like I'm talking chunk them, for just half a health bar at a time, each time they commit to perception. And this is like boom, boom, boom. This is by far, I think, aside sparking and supers, this might be one of the fastest ways to kill a character in the whole game. If you are really aggressive, kind of like me, although I think the zoning key blast is really fun to slow the game down, when the opponent just keeps like not engaging me and I'm forced to make it engage on my terms. I almost always want a shotgun on my team, because you can shit out damage, like absolutely. And not only can you shit out damage, remember this is the fastest key blast in the game? You see how fast this travels? You are not reacting to this, you're not responding to this. Even me winding back to charge, it's just too fast, it's too fast. And this also makes it a true combo. Look at this. It's a true combo when the opponent is facing you after a 5-hit rush string. And that did half of their health bar. If you want to get more, this is a really hard link. So you have to go for like a little mix-up. And some characters can even get a real combo after this. Oop can, because he strikes really rapidly there. But not everybody can. I think Goldo cannot. So that mix-up is not only risky, it loses the perception, and the damage tends to be lower because the scaling has already progressed to a higher degree. This doesn't give a fuck. This shotgun. If you know the release timing, which is not easy by the way, I've practiced this a little while. This is just boom! Half your health bar is gone. And you can combine this with stopping perception like this, and then it starts. They release it, and then kind of out of the way, you hit them with a rush string. And if their back is facing you, it's even better. As you can see, they have to turn around to face you. So there's some really silly shit you can do. Like, what's a good example here? It's kind of hard to show because this Magi Beam is a really fast super, but I'll try to show this to you. Crap, I got... you can get unlucky and they can whiff, but it just never ever happens. Like this one. You can like link a super after it, and if the back is turned to you... Shit. I'm bad. I want to show this to you because this is really useful. You can like link super. See, he's able to vanish it because it's a really shitty super consecutive energy blast, but the super actually connected, right? So you can actually link the shotgun afterwards. And if their back is facing you, they have to turn around, right? So you can also just... You can charge it, because while turning around they are invincible to key blasts. So instead... You can just pull up to them like this. To my knowledge, some characters are fast enough. With their actual normal rush string, there's actually a real combo. Like Kefla can actually combo like this. Oop sadly cannot. Semi-charged smashes don't reach far enough most of the time, but it's still really good. I think this is an extremely fucking good... It's a good song for this, yeah. This is an extremely good key blast. It's really underrated because it doesn't like hit them normally like this, right? It doesn't correctly hit them, but because you're probably scrapping in this game already like this, the damage is insane. The damage you can deal is ludicrous, right? If you're like advanced with your character and you know all your rush strings off the top of your head and you're able to get this lift strike that I showed you before that did the 1 health bar damage, check this. You can get a rush string after. And then you can, guess what, link it to the shotgun again. And if you're even faster, they may even still have their back turned to you. And if you're not, boom, you get the link on a shotgun. And that did 13k fucking damage. That is as much damage as a bunch of ultimate attacks on low DP characters, right? That damage is ludicrous, and that starts stacking up, right? I just did this, and then you can super counter this, and if you fail, that wasn't that much damage. That was like 5k, right? But if you just combine the shotgun with these like little like links and whatever you call them, whatever I call them do, your damage just basically doubles. It essentially just doubles. And there's one more thing I want to point out about shotgun, right? The other key blast can do this as well, but shotgun's really good at this. If you get a perception off, let's say this is a gut punch. It's not a gut punch. I think Godels is a gut punch, right? Oh no, it's a Ki cannon. What about Stamina? He has flying kicks. Damn it. I think there's a Ki cannon as well. Oh shit, I sprouted on an accident. Sorry. Does any of these guys actually have the gut punch? He has the gut punch, right? During this gut punch, like the heavy staggers, you can see how they don't actually get put in the blocks in the hit stun of the blast. So you can do like a little bomb like this, a little cute little combo. Like that. To get more damage off your perception. If you hold it by holding down Y on Xbox, the stagger is far longer, right? You can do some more stuff. It's great. The thing I like to do the most with this is to just get behind the opponents, but the shotgun characters get like some... The shotgun characters get some really heinous stuff here. I just don't have one rocking right now, but there are quite a few shotgun characters are actually also gut punch characters when they percept you. So, yeah. Those are all of the unique Ki blasts. That took way too long. My throat is dry. I didn't think this would take so long. But these are all the unique Ki blasts and their purposes. I think it's a really valuable thing that people don't consider when they're building a team. They just think about DP cost, skills, and blasts. And maybe they think about like the rush follow-ups, right? Biggest overlooked things in this game is what is their Ki blast and what is the character's rush follow-up, right? So before I close off, let me make an example of a team I like to build when I'm considering a charged Ki blast, right? We'll keep gold though. Why not? Right. Oob has that Homing Orb Ki Blast that's really good, right? And he also gets to go into the shotgun when he transforms, and he becomes 6 DP, so his damage is quite high. However, what I like to do is I like to play as melee Trunks. And then I either have a different Ki Blast type, like the standard one, like for example Cell. Another good example would be Zarbon. He also has a normal Ki Blast. There's quite a few. But I've been playing Tierlist a bit. I don't play him all the time, but I play him like quite a bit.
Let's play.
And I was initially thinking that this character is really good. I really thought that Tierlist was good because he has that free orb Ki Blast and costs 4 DP. Unfortunately, he is not Oob. Oob is actually insanely good in this game. I didn't expect him to be this good, right? Because he has this Ki Blast. It looks a little bit different because it's Urple, but it functions the exact same way. And I was thinking, like, okay, this must mean that if Tierlist is the only character in the game who has this Ki Blast on 4 DP, and I was initially thinking that because I wasn't well versed enough with Ki Blasts, I was like, okay, that makes Tierlist like the cheapest zoner, so I can zone with him like this. Unfortunately, and we're coming back all the way. Remember the heavyweight stuff? Yeah. Tierlist is a lightweight, and not only is he a lightweight, his rush follow-ups are really uninspired. He has a heavy finisher 4 times, and the only unique one is Blaster Wave, which can be an unblockable, but it's the same like, oh, if I charge it, you're screwed. So opponents will just like constantly sidestep you. And there's nothing you can do about it, unless you hardcore it up by stopping the swing early and grabbing them, or using a Ki Blast. And like we said before, this is not a good point-blank Ki Blast. So sadly, he doesn't make for a very good zoner. Although he does a lot more damage with these Ki Blasts because he's like a lightweight. You see this at like 1.7k uncharged. Charge all the way. This deals 3k damage. Which won't happen all the time, but like... he chunks you. He actually does shotgun tier damage when he is given the time to charge his Ki Blasts, and you don't get out the way in time. So he can get really high damage off his Ki Blasts like this, but this really is only unique, the only unique thing about him. He can also buff them by having a little snack. This buffs his Ki Blast based damage as well. So if he has this buff up, and he's charging like this deals even more damage, right? The damage isn't that high because I didn't let it cook all the way, but I'll let it cook all the way, just for you. Alright. If it let it cook all the way, it's almost just 4k damage. Like more than the shotgun. And the charge time isn't even that long, in my opinion. The dashing one particularly is really fast if you charge it all the way. Although it won't combo anymore, but... letting it cook with Tierlist is very viable because he's a lightweight and the damage is higher. But this up-close presence is really bad, and people like to brawl in this game. So I was like, alright, it's not gonna be it, right? Trunks, in his base form, has the shotgun. And he has a funny shotgun. You saw how far they got knocked back on Oob. He doesn't break the damage ceiling. Like 2.4k or something is what Oob dealt. He does like only 2k, which sounds bad. But he also shoots less shotgun pellets. You see how like he hits you only 3 times, whereas Oob shoots 6. So the damage is more condensed in these 3 points. And because the opponent's only getting hit by 3 pellets, he doesn't get knocked back as far. Which means you get unique combos only accessible to him. And I do believe this stays the same regardless of his form.
This is the end.
This is the end for you! He still has 3 hits here. So he still has the same Ki Blast in his Super Saiyan form and in base form. I think in his Grade 3 form, it gets a massive downgrade. Because of Grade 3's heavyweight nerfs, this doesn't even do 2k damage anymore. It deals, if I let it charge all the way, it deals 2.8, right? That sounds really good, right? But you're not going to get enough time to let it cook that long. So that's the one problem, right? If you let this guy charge all the way in his base form, this already deals more damage. He's not even Super Saiyan yet. So in Grade 3, you are not actually going to be using the shotgun Ki Blast. You'll do it in Super Saiyan. And because his Ki Blast is unique, he gets to do more stuff. Like here, let me show you. He gets to do the same thing I showed you before, where you get to 2 in a row like this. And after a rushing from behind, because he shoots less pellets, and he do a stationary one, He doesn't go back as far. So I can link into the semi-charge smash. As you can see. So he has some really difficult, I would say difficult for this game. It's not super duper hard. You can learn it if you give it some time. But I like Trunks a lot in this game, especially Battlesuit Trunks, because of the shotgun key blast being so unique, and it only shoots 3 pellets. So even if he is a shotgun user, like Oob and like Kefla, like Vegito as well, I'm pretty sure, his is still different. So the utility on it is still like a little bit different. And Turles makes for a really good zoner, but because of his really bad damage, it leaves somewhat to be really bad damage when he's up close. It leaves somewhat to be desired, right? So that's what I like to do when I take a look at my my characters, when I try to consider that team. Yeah, that's some like unique character-specific stuff. I hope you've learned something. By the way, in case you want to know who the highest DP character is who has Telekinesis, I do believe it is Final Form Cooler. Because Frieza in his final form, when at full power, changes his Ki Blast to the free Homing Orb one. So, that's good to know. A bunch of characters change their blasts when they transform. For instance, base form Kefla has a normal Ki Blast, just a standard one. But when she transforms and goes Super Saiyan, or as a Super Saiyan 2, she gets a shotgun Ki Blast, right? So some characters can like freely swap between what they need at any given time, which is also really useful. I think it's also a really useful thing. Goku Black in his base form has normal Ki Blast when he's in Rose. I do believe he actually gets the Unblockable when he's standing still. So you can switch, okay, do I want better zoning that occupies more space, or do I want to have like a little haha gotcha unblockable check, right? And that's the way I think it should go when you're considering your team, because I think charge Ki Blasts are really underrated. They're really important. They're not only good for combos, but they're also just really good, like in general, right? You saw how many I was able to chuck at my opponents, right? Of course, he'll be moving around. Even the simple normal charge Ki Blast, I think is still really good and should be used more. Especially when you combine it with you know, charged ones and uncharged ones. You can combine like them freely. But yeah, I just kind of want to ramble a little bit about that. I really hope this was eye-opening. I hope this makes you think about your characters some more and lets you find more depth in this game. Because I think this game actually has a little bit more depth than people realize. Not like a super metric fucked on, but like more than people realize. And you know, I just wanted to show that, right? If you want, like, you want to wait. Let's close out the video with a tier list. Is my document here? Here it is. Tier maker. Here we go. Sparking 0. Monster energy drink? No 0. What? I'm not looking for that, right? Sparking 0 all characters? Oh, this is a bad one because it doesn't say the character's name beneath it. Alright, let's take a look here. Alright, here we go. You want my Ki Blast, special Ki Blast tier list? This is like unique, right? I'll call it the... Yeah, let's just keep it like this, right? To represent the normal charge Ki Blast, you'll be using Base Coup, right? He's in the middle. To represent Paralysis, we'll be using Goldo, because he was our example, right? I think it's slightly better. Jace is going to be our Homing Orb example. He's obviously fucking good. This is like... I think in this... It's not better or worse, it's just similar. I'll not talk about this later, don't worry, I'll talk about this later. The unique Ki Blast that I show off with Tierlist and with Oob. I'll use Tierlist as an example because it's more obvious. He's down here, right? Because he's a move villain, yes. I think it's like... I think it really just depends, honestly. I don't know. I'm gonna do question mark. I don't actually know about this one anymore. Homing, Paralysis, normal, charged Sword Slash, and I finally have Shotgun. And to represent Shotgun, we will use Fused Oob. Is it Fused Oob? Right? Is it? Ooh, where are you? Are you up here? Oh, these names all have the same color. It's kind of overlapping in my head. I think it's like down here, actually. Crap. Dude, if you found it, if you found him and you're making fun of... Oh, there he is. Maju, right. My opinion, right here, my opinion. Homing Orb is obviously extremely powerful because you literally just get infinites when you hit it, no matter what. If they're facing you or not, you get an infinite. Problem is it costs a lot of ki, so this doesn't... You think this would like be his whole game plan. If you have a Homing Orb, you just go for the infinite Lamau, but Homing Dash costs a full skill point. Skill point. Homing Dash costs a full ki gauge point. You still have to worry about dashes, which also cost key points. Normal key blasts are not meant to actually infinite the opponent. You don't really have that much luxury to infinite that much with the Homing Orb. The exception is probably when you're able to enter Sparking right away. You have some sort of like key refill. Then you definitely can, like think Jace. There's some other Homing Orb cards you can do that as well, but these are really easy examples. You only cost 3 DP. Of course, the higher up you go, like God Goku with his high DP cost, he will do a lot more damage with the infinite because he just does more damage as a higher DP character too. So that's also something worth considering, right? Counter Perception to the full combo, great neutral, infinite combo. It's really good. It's probably like the best one in the game, I would say. Actually no, I'm gonna put it in tier of its own. It's not fair. Right? Shotgun would be up here if it wasn't so hard, right? You have to like hold down the button while you're still finishing an attack and then release it. This timing will release it when you're actionable. This timing will change depending on the delay with your opponents. If you're on a bad connection, Shotgun is literally unusable. Whereas Homing Orb, you just release the button in a rhythm slightly earlier and the timing is otherwise the exact same. There's even some leeway with the infinite. So this is good no matter what. This, however, is only good if your connection is pretty good with the opponent. If your connection is stable, this is arguably like one of the best ones. But you also need to be good at using it. It depends on the character. Every character has like a different pellet spread. He has 6, Trunks has 3, Kefla has like even more, I think. It depends on the character. So like Metacooler also has it and he has like 7 or some shit. So you have to learn it like uniquely per character. It's not just a pick up and play thing, sadly. But the reward can be really high, right? Even if you can infinite with the Homing Orb, this already surpasses it. If you chuck 2 Ki Blasts, it's really cheap, in my opinion. And there happen to be holding Perception for too long, you already deal like half a health bar worth of damage. And to do that, you need to have spent like almost more than a full bar on the Homing Orb side, right? So it is more efficient, but it doesn't crop up. It's not as easy. So that's why I don't think it's as good, right? Paralysis is really good because it stops perception just like Homing Orb. It gives you the tag out combo, which I think is pretty underutilized, mostly because Paralysis is really uncommon, right? To my knowledge, it's Goldo, where's Chaozu? You got Chaozu, and then it's kind of up in the air to me. I know Frieza has it. Cooler has it. It's just kind of hard to say, man. It's just really hard to say. So, because it's really uncommon, not only do you have to be playing a character that actually has it, usually they also have some other weaknesses. Like Goldo has low HP, Chaozu has very low HP. They're cheap, but their HP is so low, they are not a very popular pick. It's very unappealing to be in a free health bar character. But there's some exceptions, right? Like for example, Final from Cooler is pretty good, and he has Paralysis, so he's like a rare exception, but he's not a common character either. Because you have to either go into final form, and or you have to like pick it like this, which is 7 DP. And picking a 7 DP character like almost guarantees you have no room for many other characters that are also strong. The basic charge Ki Blast and the unblockable one, they're like almost identical. It's just that the normal charge Ki Blast gives you really easy like zoning patterns. It goes like boom, 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 boom. You can like really chuck at the opponent. If they don't block in time, they can actually combo into each other, like the really good zoning one with the triple orb, and deal like a pretty decent chunk of damage. But otherwise, they're kind of unremarkable everywhere else. They don't have the insane combo damage of Shotgun. They don't set up anything special. They do counter Perception, but it's the flip out, and your opponent can act out of the flip out, much like the Shotgun. But the damage is like literally half or even less. So you're not really you can still stop Perception with it, but it's really messy and scrambly. It just is okay. Like I like chucking like a charge Ki Blast in between like the heavy staggers and my combos and going from there. Just a nice little additional little bit of damage. And it's just really nice and neutral. I think this is like debatably the best neutral Ki Blast because of how consistent it is. So constantly having access to this is still really good. It's just missing the utility and the damage of the other ones, which is why I can't put it in like the quote-unquote high-tier sunglasses one. And Unblockable is interchangeable. It just, you could say just better, but the cooldown on the stationary one makes it so your zoning patterns are far easily avoidable. And there won't be nearly as many combos. Like, the thing I showed you with stationary into moving one is really easy here. You can do it like with these unblockable ones, but because the speed is different, and the cooldown is like literally 3 seconds long or something like that, you'll only get to do it like sometimes. So you gain some, you lose some. The zoning Ki Blast, the triple homing orb Ki Blast, I think is really good, but it's just kind of hard, man. It's just really difficult to use. I think it's honestly, if your connection is bad, this shit's like, right? But if your connection is bad on this, it becomes like insanely good because they literally cannot see the blasts, right? Because the delay is so long, you could just do your fucking zoning and they actually can't see the blast in time. Well, they can see it, but their controls literally don't respond fast enough to actually get out the way, deflect them, whatever have you, right? So you'll actually get a lot of oopsies combos if you are on a bad connection with this, which sadly happens more often than I want it to happen. But otherwise, barring, let's say the connection is like stable and it's good, you can still squeeze it in combos, the damage will just be lower. You can also just, do it like zoning, like this. And it still is able to counter perception, but the damage is even lower than a normal charge Ki Blast if you're doing like a tap charge, like a short charge one. And the zoning patterns are nowhere nearly as like constant like pelting, right? It's just like one big burst that suddenly hits you. If they don't respond in time, you get the combo into each other, right? But otherwise, I don't know. Honestly, it's really hard to say. I should get more playtime of this. I only played like a little bit in the beginning, and it was good. But once I understood the value of the homing Ki Blast, and it even has the same travel time as this one, it just literally has more utility up close, which makes it literally just the better variation. This one leans way too much on the neutral aspect, whereas this one can still do both. So it's really hard to argue whether you actually want, why you want to pick this one, unless you happen to like the character that has it, right? Like think like Tierlist, for example, right? Some low DP cards also have this Ki Blast that should be worth to consider. Good examples would be Oop. Oop has it. You saw it, he has it. Who else? I know some other cards have this, right? Let me look for it. Tien actually had one in Tenkaichi, but he now has a normal charge Ki Blast, so he doesn't count anymore. Nail also has the really good Homing Orb Ki Blast. And Fuse of Kami Piccolo also has a really good homing, like the triple homing, the triple Ki Blast. Whereas this one has the normal homing one. And you could argue that the early Piccolo is actually best Piccolo. That's probably an argument you can make, not just because of the Ki Blast, but because of his skills and shit. This guy has a normal homing orb? Crap, I really don't remember, man. I'm sorry. Sorry for being really poorly wording my information here, but triple homing orb is really uncommon. I think this guy actually has Paralysis. He doesn't actually have triple homing orb. But I know there's some cards actually have it that are like pretty surprising for them to have it. But I don't know who it was. I know there was some character that was like, what, he has it? But I don't know who it was, I'm sorry.
Let's play.
But yeah, that's my rambling on all the unique charged Ki Blasts in the game. And also weight classes, right? I think weight classes are a little bit more important than charged Ki Blasts, even though I was talking for way longer, purely because they're always in effect, right? You don't need to throw them. You don't need to throw your weight class at your opponent. It would just be a thing that would just be present in the background. So I just want to like, I hope you learned something. enough rambling. I hope you learned something, and hope this will make the game more fun and interesting for you, right? yeah, thank you and take care.